What's going on, everyone? This is Dom, and today we're talking about probably my favorite truly wireless headphones on the market, and that's these little guys, the Samsung Galaxy Buds Live. These things are absolutely surprising, and I say that because I didn't expect much going into it, but I've been using them for a couple of weeks now, and well, I figured I'd share my thoughts. So I'm gonna break this down into a few categories to make it more easily digestible. And first up, we are going to talk about the design. And these things are absolutely tiny. I mean, look at this small little case, open it up, see these tiny little jelly bean buds right here. These things, the design is super small. They take up minimal space in your pocket. I mean, even compared to, you know, like the AirPods Pro or the OnePlus Buds right here. I mean, the Galaxy Buds Live are tiny in comparison to all of those in terms of how they fit in your ears and how they fit in your pocket. And yeah, let's talk about how they fit in your ears. So these are tiny little jelly bean buds, and they have this like metallic-y shine to them, which I'm not a huge fan of because they just kind of get dirty looking after a little bit. And the same with this case. This specific case, it does get really printy because it's super glossy. But as far as when it's in your ear, they have such a low profile to them that I find myself forgetting about them most of the time because I don't like bump into them, like if something brushes against my head or I go to like touch the side of my head or whatever, anything like that, I don't actually like knock them out or bump into them because they fit pretty flush with my ears specifically. Now I know that's going to range depending on your ear size and like different factors with this. And another thing that will range in that category is how comfortable they are. Now for me, these things are absolutely comfortable. They come with little replacement wings for the back inside of your ear, and they easily come off right here. And so you have a small size and you have a large size. Personally, for me, I used a large size because it just locks it in there pretty nice. They're not gonna fall out. I've never had them once like wiggle loose or fall out or anything like that. They just stay in very nicely. And for me, they're super comfortable. I've slept in these things on multiple occasions, and they don't leave my ear sore at the end of the night. Again, all of this is going to be based on your head, your personal comfort level with these things in, but for me, they've just been absolutely awesome. Now let's talk about performance with these. Now, first thing, these are compatible with both iOS and Android, which is great, and they have apps for both platforms. Now the app is actually pretty cool because it allows you to control a lot of different aspects and functionality of the earbuds themselves. Now I should mention the only exception to the iOS compatibility is the fact that it won't read out notifications to you and you don't have direct Spotify access right from the buds. So inside of the app here, you do have the ability to turn on and off the active noise cancellation, which we will talk about in a little bit. You also have the ability to set an equalizer. You can't set a custom EQ, but you do have multiple options here, which should be enough for everyone. Again, talking about sound quality here in a little bit. And we do also have the ability to adjust the touch controls because there are little touch pads on the side of these things, and you can sort of customize the functionality there. One thing I'm a big fan of here though are, well, the different noise functions, right? So we have active noise cancellation and we have ambient sound, which is awesome. I like both of those. But let's talk about the active noise cancellation for a second. So it's not going to be the best active noise cancellation you've heard. If you've used AirPods Pro, then it's going to be slightly less than that, but marginally. And there's a big reason for that too. See, these buds, when they go in your ear, there's no actual seal made in your ear canal. There's not a rubber tip on the end. There's just tiny little speakers on the end of these that actually just kind of fit into your ear canal. So there's no snug like seal made there. So the active noise cancellation really needs a pretty good seal to work at its best. And because this lacks that, well, it's just slightly below, which is still very impressive. I was actually pretty impressed by the level of active noise cancellation I got out of the Galaxy Buds Live. Certainly enough for me. I haven't had a chance to test them on the airplanes yet because, well, you guys know the story there. I haven't been flying lately. But you know, walking around the city or just random tasks, it does cancel out a lot of low frequency noises, which is pretty good for me. Like I said, very, very small difference between the noise cancellation on these and on AirPods Pro. One thing I am a big fan of too is the ambient sound. So you can actually, they kind of have it in the app to say, well, if you need to relieve pressure from the buds, it kind of opens up the microphone so you can hear things around you. And I think that I like that personally, that preference on any earbud, because it kind of gives me a sense of spatial awareness, I guess. I like being able to hear outside sounds sometimes, and that's going to be highly subjective depending on who you are. But I think that both the active noise cancellation and the ambient sound here are awesome. All right, so let's talk about one thing that I was not a huge fan of going into this immediately, and that's going to be the default frequency response here. It just lacks clarity. It's a little muddy overall, in my personal opinion. Again, how you hear music and how you like to hear music is kind of a subjective topic, but I think that it's not the greatest. It's a little muddy, like I said, lacks clarity, though there are some EQ presets in here, and I personally found the clear preset to fix a lot of the problems that I had with listening to these out of the box. So keep that in mind. It's not the greatest in terms of its default setting, so you definitely want to go ahead and play with that within the app. Another thing to make note of these is that, well, the frequency response by default does have a pretty high boost on the low range frequencies, and that's actually to some benefit. It does drown out a lot of noise around you, and that's simply because, well, like I said, these don't have a sealed fit in your ear, and because of how they're designed. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, I'm okay with the design and I think they sound fine, but that boost in the low range frequency, while it's a bad thing in terms of sound quality and clarity to me, it does actually help the functionality here and you be able to hear things better without outside noise interfering. Now, as far as battery life goes, okay, well, I think the longest time I went before I got to a percentage on these, which was, okay, it's time to charge, was about 5 hours. And that's pretty good, but most of the other time I wasn't actively tracking the battery life. I listen to music a ton. I use these things every single day for hours at a time, and I never had them just completely die on me, and I always had them ready to go when I pulled them out of the case. The case will, I think, statistically last you about 2.5 charges, but between the buds and the case, I just never ran out of battery. Like, they were always ready to go, and I would just occasionally plug these in or wirelessly charge them because they do have that functionality. Heck, I could even flip over my Note 20 Ultra, put them on the back of that using wireless power share, and have them charged up. And as far as charging the actual buds up, I mean, it's pretty simple. You just stick them inside of the case. There's pins on the inside that line up with little metal pads on the back of the little earbuds, and they just magnetize right into place. You snap the lid, you're good to go. I think that Samsung really knocked it out of the park with these. I mean, especially compared to AirPods Pro, these are only $170 and they work on all platforms. They even work with my MacBook. Like, everything about these is 100% solid. Like, I highly recommend you pick some of these up because to me, they're pretty excellent. But I don't know, let me know what you think about the Galaxy Buds Live down in the comment section below. Again, I think to date, these are my favorite truly wireless earbuds. I will continue using them every day. They're absolutely awesome, but I want to know your thoughts down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, leave it a thumbs up, and if you're new around here, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can be notified when new videos like this drop in the near future. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. I really do appreciate it. Once again, this is Dom, and I will catch you in the next video.